What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. This video is long overdue. I was supposed to make this 3 battle passes ago. A lot of you guys keep asking me like, JB, can you make an updated version of what the best legendary weapons are or what the best epic weapons are? So today we're doing just that. Today we're doing the legendaries though, and another time we'll do the epic weapons. And just like last time, we're not gonna use the tier list format because that's way too long. I'm just gonna start from left to right and just glance over them and show you guys the good things about the weapons, the bad things about the weapons, and why I like it or why I don't like it. And by the way, keep in mind guys, I'm just a casual player now, but I do hear from other people what is effective in Clan War, so I'll just say what I know. So here are my 10 personal picks for the best legendary weapons in Crossout. Starting with machine guns. The first 4 used to be hit scan, but ever since hit scan got removed, these are not so great anymore. They have gotten additional buffs after the hit scan removal, but they still don't hit the same as before. Not too long ago, I did play the aspects, but I still would not recommend it because it just falls off way too quick. As for the Reaper, I love the Reaper. The Reaper is an effective weapon, but if they give this thing, let's say 200 more durability, I would say yes, get it. But right now, there are way too many weapons that can one-shot this thing. And usually, Reapers are mounted on the top of your build. You could make an enclosed build and protect the Reapers, but that will limit your firing angle, so that also kind of sucks. So sadly, no machine guns on the list. Moving on to the shotgun, of course, we know that the Tritons are god tier. The splits are also very effective. So the first 2 weapons on my list are definitely the split shotgun and the Triton shotgun. The Nidhogg reload based shotgun did get a rework, but I still don't like it. It's too big and it fires too awkwardly. For me, if they wanted to make this weapon more effective, I would give it slightly more range and less spread. As for the Hammerfall shotgun, same story as with the machine guns. After the hit scan removal, they became a lot less effective. Although I have seen some pretty effective builds using the Satori cabin, but I have not tried out that version out myself. The Parser shotguns are actually pretty decent, but like the other shotguns, the automatic shotguns, the charge shot is no longer hit scan. It's close to hit scan, it's very fast. You can also increase it more by using harmonizers, but using harmonizers on all builds is a little bit annoying sometimes. Now moving on to the autocannons, and I'll be honest guys, all of the autocannons actually feel really amazing at their specific power score, of course. I recently made a video on the Star Vaults, very powerful. The Stillwind's also very strong at sniping, but it has its issue, especially if you get rushed. And the Cyclone is just really strong. 2 Cyclones, 3 Cyclones, just really strong. They are pretty big, but they do have the durability to like absorb. You can brawl with these. And this is what I meant with the Reapers. If the Reapers also had 700 and something durability, it would have been a lot more fun to use. So my 2 other picks for the list are the Cyclone autocannon and the Starfall autocannon. Alright, moving on to cannons. I'm very sad that they nerfed cannons a while back. Right now, the only cannon that feels like an actual cannon is the Avalanche cannon, which is also on the list. The Tsunami has a limited firing angle and is very boring. The Mammoth is... It used to be pretty fun, like it had a pretty fast rotation speed, so if people drove around you, you could basically just track them no problem and shoot them anyways. But now you can't really do that anymore. It still hits decently hard, and with a photon cabin combined with a trombone and this hits amazingly. It's amazing, but on its own, it's kind of boring and not really super effective. The Compiler is a new cannon. It's pretty fun, but it feels like it falls off a little bit too fast, so I would not recommend it. Alright, next up, the rocket launchers. I personally like the Lucifers. They're a pretty effective weapon. They're not really Clan Wars worthy, I think, but they're really strong if you know how to use them. I personally use it with a dust cabin and it just hits so hard. So for me personally, this is on my list as well. The Waltz hits hard, but it has very low durability, so it falls off kind of fast. The Header is just super difficult to use. Hits hard, but it's so difficult to use. The Hurricane is just annoying, but they also nerfed this thing. And the Swarms are actually pretty strong, but also quite tricky to use. If I had a list of 11 weapons, I would probably put the Swarm on it as well as number 11. Alright, moving on to grenade launchers. The Emugis are annoying, but nothing too crazy. The Retchers are still the king of DPS, so definitely worth getting these. The Slaughterers are actually also worth getting. They're really strong, just extremely difficult to use. This weapon has a very high skill gap. So if you're just a casual player looking for a strong weapon, I would not really go for these, but they are very strong. Next up, we have the energy weapons. The Mortis kind of weak. The Assemblers are okay. The Spark on its own is not that great. Destructors are they've become very weak. Helios, I recently made a video on these, very weak. The Pulsar, when upgraded, is actually really fun and good. The Athenas did get a buff, but the last time I used them, they were still very tricky to use and I couldn't really destroy builds fast. I didn't have stopping power. And the Jupiters are just stupidly strong. I'm not sure if they work in Clan Wars, but in regular casual PvP, these are just super easy to use, kind of ridiculous how effective they are. So on my list, I have the Pulsars and the Jupiters. These two are really strong and really fun. For a very long time, the Destructors were the king of disarming weapons, but they did nerf them. So I don't know, they don't feel the same anymore. And with all the other weapons, you're just gonna get more frustrated with the game. All right, moving on to the Crossbow. So the Toadfish, it's a little bit weak, I'm not gonna lie, it is a bit weak. The Fukibari is strong but very tricky to use. Also recently made a video on these. Very difficult to use, but I do think they're strong. And of course we have the Commit Ballista, which is a very strong weapon, probably the most effective weapon in the game right now, but for me personally, it does get boring after a while using these. The sound of the reload just drives me crazy, but it is on the list of one of the most powerful weapons in the game. So that was already 10 of the best weapons. But if you're more into melee stuff, the Harvesters are also actually pretty good. The Caribdis are also strong, but they have a very limited use. They usually work on a specific build only. For flame weapons, we have the Draco and the Mandrake. On their own, they're alright, but combined with the Photon Cabin, it makes them almost, well, actually it makes them 3 times more effective. I recently also made a video on the Mandrakes with the Photon Cabin, and it was so easy to use this thing. I could just spam my shots everywhere and I would get like thousands of damage. So if you're feeling like you want to use something different, the Mandrake is a good choice. As for the cryogenic weapons, they're not really my favorite weapon type in the game. I don't run to them to play them every day. I don't know, they're kind of disappointing. They do have their use. For example, the Narwhal is a counter to meat grinder builds. But for me in PvP, these just don't hit as hard. The Scaddy is decent, but not my favorite. And the Nuthong is just still trash for me. For the Mind Layers, the Jiboku is trash, the Dove is trash, and the Fortune is okay. The biggest thing that killed the Fortunes though is that now if the Fortune hits a teammate, it also detonates. That's probably the most annoying thing they did with them. And I believe they also reduced its projectile speed or something like that. But using 3 Fortunes is still pretty powerful. Next up, we have 2 autonomous drones. Now, the Annihilator, I've seen, well, actually only 2 people use them really effectively. I don't see anybody else using them. And I also tried them myself multiple times. And I don't know, I just wasn't having fun, man. Now, the Vulture is very weak. But if you combine it with the Hadron Cabin, a King Mine, and a fast reload module, you can spam a bunch of vultures around the map, which is pretty annoying, but I wouldn't call it effective. It's just annoying. The Kaiju needs a buff. It feels really bad right now. The Charon is actually pretty good right now. Yeah, the Chariot is also a weapon I would pick if I had a longer list. The Tierces needs more work though. The Tierces, even after the recent buff or whatever they call it, it's still kind of bad. And the last legendary weapon is a Flock, which is good against what it's supposed to do. One thing I didn't do though is check the prices, because that's also kind of important. I'm on my promo account, so I cannot use the market, so I'm gonna switch real quick. I don't even know why I'm saying this, because I could have just cut it and you guys could have seen it. Hold on. So let's quickly check all the prices of these weapons. Okay, the Imp is still pretty expensive. Aspect is kind of cheap. MG40 is kind of cheap. Reaper is a little bit expensive. Wow, the Parsers are actually very cheap for what you can get. Triton is still expensive. Hammerfall, wow. The Hammerfall, oh my god. Okay, so I recommended a split, but god dang. Holy crap, so that's really expensive. But man, dudes, I bought my Hammerfalls for 2,800. That is crazy that they're going for this low. The Cyclone, ooh, kind of expensive. Whoa, okay, yeah. Oh, wow. Okay, so, wow. That's actually kind of insane, though. Man. So if you are a free-to-play player, getting these is not really a smart decision. The Cyclones can get the job done. The Parser can probably get the job done for you as well if you're into the shotguns. The Compiler is extremely expensive. The Mammoth, if the Mammoth was a little bit cheaper, I would say, you know, you could try it out. Tsunami's also kind of, oh, the price, whoa, this thing used to be 2K. What happened? Okay, the Avalanche used to be a lot cheaper, but damn, almost 5k is crazy work. None of the cannons are actually cheap anymore. That's actually... What the hell's happening? What about the Raijin? Because... Okay, personally, I would go for the Raijin. The Raijin is still pretty effective, but that's for the other video. Let's see the Lucifer. Lucifer is quite expensive. Guys, I did not know this. I don't know what the heck is going on. So out of all the rocket launchers, the Waltz is the cheapest, and they hit hard. They're pretty effective. They got a lot of buffs and they work pretty well. It's just that they fall off. You gotta use the Omamori or an Averter or something to help them survive a little bit longer. So I got my top 10 picks that are good, but I see that a lot of them are really expensive. But let's say you're not willing to spend as much money. These are also good options. So the aspects, I would not recommend it because 2 aspects is kind of weak. 3 aspects would cost you a little bit too much. No need to get the Reaper, so I would still avoid machine guns. The parsers are actually a good choice. You could use 2 parsers, and that is also already pretty effective. I personally prefer 3 parsers though. The Hammerfalls, I would have to play the Hammerfalls again to see how good they are, because for their price, they might still be okay. If you want a good brawling weapon, this was also on my list, so this is probably one of the better weapons to get, the Cyclones. Just make sure you know how to use them. Keep an eye on the perk and work around the perk when you engage enemies. For cannons, if you're a free-to-play player, I can't really recommend any of these cannons. I guess the Mammoth would be your best bet, but an unfused, an unupgraded Mammoth is pretty horrible to use. Man, the Avalanche was always my recommended for people because it was cheap and it was pretty effective. For rocket launchers, I would just avoid them. But if you really want a rocket launcher and you're a free-to-play player, the epic variants are also... yeah, just get the epic variants. For grenade launchers, the Retchers are priced well. I would say the Retcher, for the effectiveness of it, is priced very well. For the energy weapons, let's see, the Morta is cheap but trash. It always has the same price. Destructor got very cheap. Helios, that's very expensive. The Pulsar was on the list and it's a good price. Athena is too expensive, but that's because of the recipe, and the Jupiters are also quite expensive. Yeah, the Pulsar is still a good option to get. It's not super expensive, but also not the cheapest. It's actually priced very well. For the crossbows, yep, I knew the Comet was expensive, but this is only a single weapon. You only need to buy one of them, so the price is alright. Fukibari is expensive. The Toadfish is priced okay. For the melee, Harvester is priced okay, 2k coins. A Carab this, yeah, that's kind of expensive. The Harvester is also priced well. The Mandrakes, ooh, that's also not bad. You could actually... The Dracos become boring for me personally. The Nudhong is crazy expensive for what it does. That is crazy. Nope. The Narwhals are actually well priced. These were trash, so I would not even try and get them. The Annihilators have always been around the same price. You usually want to run 3 of them. Yeah, same price. The Kaiju is actually getting cheaper. And you know what, guys? The Avalanche was this same price. So that's why I'm so surprised that it got so expensive. The Charons are very expensive. The tier 6 is not. That's way overpriced. Oh my, Jesus, what the hell's happening? The Flock is crazy expensive. Instead of the Flock, there's a module called the Argus. I would just get this. It only uses 1 energy now, and is it expensive? It's kind of expensive. Alright, fellas, so those are my picks for the top legendary weapons for free-to-play players and people who have an infinite a big budget. Next time I'll do the epic weapons, and I'm not sure if I should do the teal and the blue weapons. Maybe I'll do them in one video, and then we'll do the cabins. I don't need to do one for the modules, and I've never done one for wheels movement parts. I should probably also do one for these. So I hope you guys found this video informative. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, I hope I earned your like and a subscription to the channel. If you guys want to see more, you can do that by watching one of these 2 videos over here, and I'll see you there in a minute. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Peace.